Chappaqua. Today, Hillary went under oath and was grilled about the Clintons' relationship with the dead pedophile. She testified behind closed doors, but the deposition was being recorded. At any minute, we could get the tapes. When it wrapped, Hillary came out and said this.
I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times.
An hour into her testimony, it went off the rails. A photo of Hillary was leaked from inside. All hell broke loose, and Crooked's team stormed out.
The hearing just went off the record for a moment because it seems, as some of you may have seen, that there were some photographs shared on social media, which is against chamber rules that were read at the top of the meeting. So the hearing has been paused briefly while they figure out where the photo came from.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert texted the pic to the press, and Hillary complained it was against the rules. I don't think she liked how she looked.
We had a bit of a challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. If you're just joining, thanks for joining. Going to go over a few things. We're going to take a look at my IG in a minute. We're going to get warmed up with a little bit of this, kind of some of the news today, and then we're going to jump into some of the other stuff and have a little fun with Instagram and some of the posts that I've saved for us, and we'll go from there. Apparently she was a +1. Yep. Says, I don't see why she's not sitting in prison for life. Exactly. So let's see what we got going on today, and then we're going to jump into my IG and have some fun.
At their demand, and one of the members violated that rule, which was very upsetting because it suggested that they might violate other of our agreements.
Hillary made a fuss to chew up clock because she didn't want to be there. She testified that she never met Epstein, even though he'd been to the White House 16 times. It was supposed to be a co-presidency, remember? A 2-for-1 deal. Hillary moved their office into the West Wing, but Hillary doesn't remember.
Yep.
The number of times that she said, I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband, was more than a dozen, and I'll put it like that.
Maybe they didn't meet, maybe they did, but Bill does a lot of things when Hillary's not looking. But this email's interesting. In the Epstein files, someone emailed the sex offender, quote, I know you are close with Hillary, but if she gets the nomination and you vote for her, I'll effing kill you. Did Hillary meet Epstein? Maybe, maybe not. But we do know this.
I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond.
Sure you did.
Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine, went to Chelsea Clinton's wedding. When she was asked about this, she ran like the wind.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to the daughter of Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein already been.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
We do know who did spend a lot of time with Epstein, Bill Clinton. There's dozens of photos in the files. Here's Bubba and a girl in a hot tub. Hillary says her hubby was just saving lives.
It wasn't a hot tub on a plane. It was one of the stops they made to look at philanthropic and charitable work that my husband has done, saving literally millions of lives around the world. It turned out that was done long before there was any public awareness and certainly any conviction of any crime by Jeffrey Epstein. So it was a short period of time that was in pursuit of charitable philanthropic work.
Charitable work. That's a new name for it. Here's Bill doing more charity. We all know how much Bill loves to give back. The former president will have his chance to set the record straight tomorrow when he goes under oath, but we all know how he got the name Slick Willie.
Is that correct? Yeah, it depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
Hillary says she's not worried. Bill would never do something inappropriate.
Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light.
If anybody thinks this is some partisan witch hunt, or as the Clintons call it, a vast right-wing conspiracy, you're wrong.
I think one thing that surprised the Clintons, they assumed the Democrats on the committee would vote in a partisan manner and not vote to hold the Clintons in contempt. And what they learned was a majority of the Democrats on the committee either voted to hold the Clintons in contempt or voted present.
The Epstein fallout has Clinton and Obama operatives dropping like flies. Yesterday, Larry Summers had to resign from his position at Harvard. And now it's come out that not only did the Ivy League take $9 million from the perv, they gave him his own office. And Harvard faculty was accepting free flights and business deals from the sex trafficker. Epstein was giving Larry Summers consulting gigs in places like Mongolia and Kazakhstan. Like we've been saying, it's going global. The head of the World Economic Forum, you know, the guys who tell us to eat insects, Borge Brende, suddenly resigned because of the Epstein files. One of the Rothschilds, you know, the European banking dynasty, all over the Epstein files. And the Swiss bankers, all they're saying so far is they're monitoring the situation. J.B. Pritzker's cousin, Thomas, just resigned from the board of Hyatt Hotels. JB's like, I only see my cousin on holidays.
A cousin of yours has been in the news with regards to the Epstein files, Thomas Pritzker. He just recently resigned from the board of the Hyatt company.
Look, I've said from the beginning that anyone that's done something wrong needs to be held accountable. And I really mean anyone. Now, I'm not close to my cousin, but I can tell you that it's very important that people be held to pay the price for whatever it is that they may have done.
There are millions of documents in the Epstein files, and we're just starting to go through them. Everyone's on edge, even Epstein's own brother.
I didn't see him for 7 years before he died, although we were always in communication with phones and emails. So I didn't know what he was up to. A lot of the stuff that's come out is surprising to me. I wasn't aware of a lot of this stuff. And I'm going to say, like, with him, even though he's my brother, that was his problem. And now that he's dead, it's not his problem anymore. So, again, unfortunately, I really don't care, to be honest with you. I'm just concerned that my brother, whoever and whatever he was murdered. That's my concern.
But you care about the victims, I presume, of your brother.
These are the questions I don't get into. So have a good day.
The Telegraph also reports that Epstein paid private detectives to remove items from his Florida property ahead of a police raid. They hid it in a secret storage locker, which contained 3 computers, videotapes, sex slave manuals, and illicit photographs. A Palm Beach lockup contained 29 address books, a 3-page list of masseuses, and tons of porn. The Palm Beach police chief said Epstein's home had been cleaned up and certain computer material was missing, including surveillance equipment. We also found out last night that the DOJ had labeled Epstein's suicide as a murder in some documents. There were also questions about the noose.
The forensic pathologist who was hired by Jeffrey Epstein's brother to observe the autopsy said that there was no blood on the noose, even though there's blood on Jeffrey Epstein's neck in the photographs. We're learning from the documents that the guard who cut Jeffrey Epstein down says he's not sure which noose was given to the investigators, and DNA testing was done. It may have been on the wrong ligature. It may have been done on the wrong noose.
Plus, there was something off about the head count in the prison that night. A new video shows a strange orange figure flashing by the corner of a surveillance camera the night before Epstein died.
There's been scrutiny of a particular moment on the cell block surveillance footage where an orange-looking flash could be seen at 10:39 p.m. A report from the Justice Department Inspector General notes the flash, quote, "It is possible someone is carrying inmate linen or bedding up the stairs." And the final report refers to it as, quote, "an unidentified corrections officer." But now, newly released Justice Department documents reveal an initial FBI review of surveillance video on the cell block says the flash could possibly be an inmate. And independent video analysts consulted by CBS News say the movement was more consistent with an inmate.
This is really getting mysterious, and I'm sure Bill Clinton will clear everything up tomorrow. Click here to subscribe to the...
I'm sure he will. Yeah, right. We're not going to get much. We barely got Hillary in finally after all this time that we've all been asking, and we didn't get much. Unfortunately, it's not public. Which is, I don't know why it's not public, but apparently we have the tape, so we're going to hear what happens. But unfortunately, so it took this long to get her in, and then she ended up leaving and stormed out of there because of who knows what. We're going to find out soon. I want to hear this real quick. Let me see what this is talking about here. And then we're gonna jump into some of my Instagram stuff, some things I've saved for us, and we'll go over a few things. Got a lot to go over, so stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kennedy, along with Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It is 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Well, that didn't take long. Republicans are already unwrapping the midterm gifts Democrats so kindly handed to them Tuesday night. That viral moment when the Dems sat on their keisters instead of standing up for Americans over illegal immigrants. Vice President J.D. Vance sure had a field day blasting Dems like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib for scowling like they smelled something bad.
Dude, they look so miserable, don't they? Look at these two girls. Just, I mean, absolute misery in their faces. Look at that. And again, Trump has said it before, but look at this. They come from their countries, complete shithole countries, and they want to tell us how to run our countries. Absolute disgrace. Look at that.
I look over the congressional Democrats, and they're just scowling. They cannot clap their hands for a 6-year-old who survived an attack from an illegal alien. What is that? What kind of a person can't stand up and cheer for an innocent young girl who's doing well, who's showing the entire country strength and resilience?
And Republicans waste.
Hold on a second. Sam just said Ilhan Omar is a baddie. Sorry, not sorry. Can you explain what you mean by baddie, bro? Please, so we can laugh at you.
No time cutting this ad.
What the hell are you talking about, bro? Oh my God. Sam, bro, you got a lot of splaining to do, bro. Oh my goodness. I have not heard a single person in my life call Ilhan Omar a baddie. Oh man. Oh yeah. That's a joke? Okay, good, bro. I needed that laugh. Holy shit.
These people are crazy.
But the Democrats, they are ready to die on this illegal immigrant hill by calling the question itself, drumroll please, racist.
I think you can agree with the what, like standing up for American citizens, but I disagree with the how. And so it's always about how do we bring our country together, but not stand on the backs of others. There's thinly veiled racist language, anti-immigrant language in what he was asking, and that.
How do we bring our country together, guys? Let me tell you. We stop talking about racism and color of people's skin. That's how we do that. Democrats want to keep chopping us up and putting us in different categories, different boxes, you know, and it's never ending. You know, and it happened with all this gender stuff. This person is this gender, that person is that gender, this person is this color and that gender, and all of these different ways of slicing and dicing Americans. And in the end, we're all American. We don't need to keep doing this. We don't need to talk about racism. It goes back to this right here. Watch this. You know what? I'm just going to jump into this Instagram thing right here. Watch this here. We're going to go like this. Where is it? Where is our little boom, boom, boom? There we go. Right into here. Watch this. Ready? Let me turn the sound on. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours?
Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either.
Now listen to this next part right here. It's very important. Listen to this.
I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. You want to say, well, I know this white guy named Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You did call it, Sam. You absolutely called it. And Morgan Freeman said it best. Stop talking about it. Bro, I grew up in the 90s, right? And we didn't have this racism. We didn't talk about people's race and their color and all this stuff. This is this new stuff Democrats are so excited to talk about. Barack Obama is so excited to talk about it. Joe Biden, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. If you didn't vote for me, it's like, what? What are you talking about, bro?
That was uncomfortable.
And the president's speech was just very performative. If you think you should be supporting American citizens over illegal immigrants, stand up. That's wrong, right? And everybody on that side who stood up knows it's wrong.
Might have been performative, but at least he wasn't a talking corpse, like some might say about our last president, which would have been rude, Harold. So let's talk about the what and the how that the Congresswoman was referring to. The what is protecting Americans over illegal immigrants. Do you really believe that she believes in the what? Because I have my concerns.
I don't know. First of all, it's good to be back around the table. I don't know the Congresswoman what exactly she was referring to. I mean, there were things the president said in the speech that I would have stood up for. There were things he said that I would not have stood up for. I've been to 10 of those speeches while I was in Congress, 4 under President Clinton, 6 under President.
You have abstained from this one.
6, I would not have. I said that on the day of the show, on this show, and the show leading up to it, that I thought it was important to be there. But I remember, the 6 that I went to where President Bush was president, and the 4 for President Clinton. It was not uncommon for Democrats not to clap for President Clinton at times, and it was not uncommon for for Democrats not to clap, for President Bush at times, and for Republicans not to clap for President Clinton at times. Now, I thought there were moments where they should have stood up and clapped. But again, this will pass. What will not pass, I think, are the issues here. There are 2 things that stood out to me. One is and I'm so hopeful after learning today and encouraged by the positive news that came out of the talks in Geneva between Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner and their counterparts on the other side. I'm hopeful we don't find ourselves at war. I'm one that believes if we can resolve this without military conflict with Iran, we should.
Okay, so it's interesting. You just talked about Iran. You talked about Geneva. You talked about Kushner that went out to Geneva to have another round of negotiations with Iran. And we already know the result of that. Iran has already completely rejected all of United States proposals to disband or whatever it is that we wanted for their nuclear program. They said no. And what he's saying right now is he's talking about war with Iran. Now, I'm one of the many, many people that understands and believes that a strike on Iran or a strategic removal of the leadership of their government and pretty much their government is not war or would not be war. So we're jumping right into Iran a little bit here. So, I mean, a lot of people think that Iran's military is really strong, really powerful, and it's going to be this whole thing. And the reality is they're really Iran, the Islamic Republic government of Iran has done a very good job of talking a lot, talking this big game. And when the rubber meets the road, they're not able to put their foot down and do anything with it. We saw that happen last year in around June or whatever with the Israel and U.S., that so-called 12-year war. Nothing really happened. Iran fired some ballistic missiles, and of the many, many, many ballistic missiles they haphazardly fired off, very few of them hit. A couple of them did some damage and caused some lives to be lost. But we're talking a minute percentage of the amount of ballistic missiles they fired. So that's something that you got to keep in mind. Now, this time around, I mean, they pretty much fired a lot of their missiles. Now, they still have a lot more. However, the way that we operate as a military in conjunction with, or, in collaboration with, let's say, Israel on a strategic attack would not, in my opinion, be an actual war, like an all-out war or something like that. It'd be something more along the lines of what happened with Venezuela. So I don't think we should be calling that a war. I think it's a strike. I think it's strategic. I think it's be well thought out, well planned, and it would not cause, in my opinion, it would not cause civilians in Iran to lose their lives. And if what we are hearing, however, is the government, the Islamic Republic of Iran, may actually be setting things up to where if they are attacked, they will actually attack more of their own civilians and blame it on the United States and say, see, look, they killed innocent civilians. So we'll have to see how that goes, and we'll see. Let's see. Sam says, Trump only ends wars. He never starts them. Come on, guys. And so Sam's joking. Trump did end wars. How many wars is debatable. And Trump hasn't started wars. Can you name a war that Trump has started, Sam? I know you're joking, but can you name a war that Trump has started?
And then two, the economic issues. The president was curious. The president said the affordability issue is solved. I hope he's right. I don't think so. I looked at some of the data today, and it's important as we think about this. People earning under $250,000 are people outside of the top 10% earners in the country. And the top 10% earners in the country account for 50% of all of consumer spending activity in the country. Middle class earners and lower class earners, their wages have actually not kept up with inflation. Those at this table and those earning $250,000 and more, our wages have kept up with inflation, if not surpassed it. Our cost of living, or should say wage increases, have surpassed it. So I hope the president focuses more on affordability. I was encouraged. I didn't necessarily agree with what Vice President Vance said there about Democrats, but I hope that they focus more not only on making things more affordable, but ensuring that middle class, everybody earning under $250,000 a year, have something to brag about as well. But you asked me a basic question. I think they should have stood. I would have attended. And if there are times in which you don't want to stand, don't stand, but don't just sit for everything. There were positive things the president said in that speech that deserve some applause.
And there are positive things that the president said that are good for Americans, that should always be applauded, regardless.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
right, no doubt about it.
I'm giving you a high five on that, Harold, because you deserve it. You take a lot of incoming. So, Jesse, they have crafted this ad. There are more on the way, obviously. And we all know in these political cycles, it can come down to one misstep. It can come down to one moment. How powerful is this compared to the Kamala is for they, them ad that the president and his team credits for pushing him?
It's even more powerful because you can see this one, and everybody can agree that they did not stand up for the American people. And it goes to the core of a democracy. You elect a politician to represent you. And Donald Trump has showed that Democrats want to represent criminals, trans, and illegals. And he made it look easy. It should not be this easy. He's basically going out there and says, stand up if you like pizza more than broccoli. And the Democrats.
That is funny. He really made it really easy. It's so simple, and they just play right into his hand, and it's hilarious to watch. That's why we love it. Some people say your mustache looks like it's glued on. Is your beard real? Very real. And I trim everything myself. Thank you very much. And something about can you name a war he stopped? There's quite a few things. Again, it's debatable. You guys can call some things war, some things not. Some things you could say he stopped them. You could say he signed a deal to help avoid wars. There's a lot of you can look it up. Look it up yourself. I'm not going to do your research for you. And I'm here for your entertainment in a way, and my own entertainment more so, to be honest with you. But what else are we seeing here? Oh, okay. Sam says Medi, the supreme leader and their negotiators, is for theatrics only, to basically posture. We're willing to talk. They were willing to talk. It's to the point where action needs to be taken. Regime needs to be removed. At least Sam and I can agree on that. Yeah, that is true. And that's what's happening. So, guys, a couple things with Iran. If you guys want a little update with Iran. The negotiations just happened today. Iran said no. They rejected all offers that were made by the United States and by Trump. So they rejected it on the nuclear side. On the ballistic missiles, they have already said no. So they're not on the two top things that we're after. They've already said no. One of the other top things that we're looking for is the treatment of the people. They're innocent civilians. They're also mistreating, in many cases, killing their own innocent civilians. I know I have Persian relatives. I am Persian. So I'm American, born and raised in America, of Persian descent. And so we have lots of information that points to them killing. In some cases now, the numbers that are coming in, if depending on who you ask, we're upwards of, it's a big number, but someone has, a good source has said 100,000 people, because we don't know what this government is doing, and they will not ever tell us the reality of the atrocities they're committing. And that's the hard part. So what's up, Hugh? What's up, guys? Good to have you. Thanks for joining. Another update on Iran. The people of Iran, the civilians of Iran that have been protesting their government for 47 years are still going out in the streets currently, and they're protesting, and they're very brave for doing so, but they're doing it, and they're doing it publicly, and they're doing it in big numbers. They're doing it in the universities, specifically the Tehran University, which is the biggest university, and universities across the country and other cities across the country. So they're putting the pressure on, the civilians are putting pressure on. And then another piece of this is the government itself is falling apart from within. First of all, the money that the government gets paid, or that pays themselves, that they are transferring out of the country so that they can run away when the shit hits the fan. That money is being tracked by America, and it's already being seized and frozen. So that's happening. The money that's the money they're transferring out. Now, the money that they haven't transferred out, that they have themselves, that money is becoming worthless. Okay. So they have driven inflation so high that the money that you have in Iran, the money that people have in that country, is absolutely worthless. You might as well wipe your ass with that money, because it's worth nothing at this point. The inflation is so high. None of us in any of our Western countries that we live in can understand what the inflation has done to the value of their money. We don't get it. Okay. So it just doesn't make any sense. I can go through a whole thing to explain to you, but just think about it. You go to get paid. You have a salary that pays for you and your rent and let's say your family and food. And all of a sudden it's worth, you could barely buy like one trip to the grocery store with that whole month of money that you make. That's how insane it is. So anyway, people that have saved up lots of money, they've gone through it already. So people are on the breaking point. That's why they're out in the streets currently. So that's what's happening right now. The people in Iran, they're at a breaking point. So that's why they're out there willing to risk their lives to overthrow this government. So that's what's happening, guys. And so we have pressure from outside. We have U.S. flying in more fighter jets. Currently just flew in some fighter jets into Israel to kind of protect that region. And so we obviously have the biggest fleet, the biggest naval fleet in the history of America since the Iraq War is in that Middle East region, with all eyes on Iran and our local, all of our United States military bases in that area. So we're protecting everything. So now we have U.S. putting more pressure on with the military assets that are being brought into the area, continuing to this moment as we speak. We have the government crumbling from within, okay? We have the government's money being frozen. We have the civilians that are also rising up in their own country, risking their lives because they're at a breaking point. And the agreements have now just been, the negotiations, so-called negotiations, the Islamic regime rejected. We have all of that happening, and I'm going to add one more thing to this. One very, very big point that I have to make on this. Islam. So this government that we're talking about is the Islamic regime. However, Islam itself as a whole, okay, which is something that this regime has been perpetuating throughout the world. Islam is something that the Islamic regime has been funding. Radical Islam, terrorism, Islamic terrorism. They've been funding it. They've been creating Islamic terrorist groups and all that kind of stuff. So what am I saying? Islam as a whole is starting to be rejected by the whole rest of the world. Okay, you're seeing in all of the major Western countries, we're saying no to Islam. So specifically radical Islam, but in most cases, Islam itself flat out, because if someone tells you they are Muslim, they believe in some crazy things if they're actually Muslim. If they're casually Muslim and they're just kind of like, my dad's Muslim, so I'm Muslim, that's a little bit different. But in general, Islam itself is being shut down, or it's being openly kind of, we're all against it now. We're all saying, dude, stop your Islam, we're good. For a long time, you couldn't say a word about Islam or your life would be in danger. Look at Salman Rushdie. You want to look up Salman Rushdie, do a search on him. The guy, for writing a book, saying whatever basic criticism, nothing crazy, I don't, from what I understand. They tried to kill him 3 times. So miraculously, the guy's still alive. They stabbed him in the throat. They did all kinds of things to the guy. So it's pretty wild. So that pressure of Islam being called out on the world stage now across the whole planet, it's now being called out in places that we never thought. Australia was very woke, one of the most woke countries in the world. Islam is being called out now in Australia. We're talking about, openly everywhere. Places like Japan, Italy. We're talking about UK even. They're standing up. The actual British themselves, the real British, okay, are standing up. Not the imported Muslims that are all over Britain. We're talking actual, UK people are standing up. France has got a long way to go, but America, 100% in America, we're now out in the open with it. Okay, so when Islam itself is being rejected, the pressure is now on the entire faith of Islam and the whole basically radicalism of Islam and the terrorism of Islam, which is a major part of this Islamic regime government that's running Iran. They have spread their tentacles out throughout the world. They have been funding not only Islamic terrorism, but they've been funding basically the perpetuation and the growth of Islam across the planet. They're trying to basically Islamify the whole planet. That's the goal. That's the end goal. It's always been the end goal. And so anyway, all of these things are creating what we're seeing now. Major pressure on this Islamic regime, in my opinion, and from what we all see here. This Islamic regime is the nucleus of this Islamic radicalization, this Islamic kind of caliphate, or whatever these words you want to use, that is happening throughout the whole world. And we all of us, most of us, many of us that have our heads on straight, understand that when this government, the Islamic regime of Iran, is gone, it's going to be a major benefit to the rest of the world. And I think it'll be a major benefit to peaceful Muslims that are not trying to go out and pray in the middle of the street and block traffic. They just want to be Muslim and they just want to live their life. And so, that's what you're seeing. I think one really big problem that I have with Muslims, okay, listen to this carefully before you jump to whatever conclusion you're going to jump to. One really, really massive problem that I have with Muslims is they don't call out other Muslims that are doing bad things. Think about that. That's a major problem. If you're Muslim and you see other Muslims doing things that make no sense to you, which make no sense to any of us, it's common sense. It doesn't make any sense. Terrorism, crazy shit that you're doing to people, calling death to America, all of this different stuff that you're doing. Even why would a Muslim go out in the middle of the street and pray and block traffic or put the prayer out into the entire city? A normal Muslim would be like, bro, why are you doing this and making us look bad? Right? If I was Muslim, I'd be like, bro, why are you doing this to us? It's the same thing as when you have transgender, actual trans people. They're like, dude, why are you guys going out and making us look bad and making everyone hate trans people? Or gay people. You know how pissed off gay people are at what the left is doing with all the shit that they're running around and the way they're making the LGBTQ community look? It's horrible. Same thing with Islam. You have Islamic Republic and you have all this crazy radical Islam and all this terrorism, all this nutty shit going on, and actual maybe peaceful Muslims that don't want to do nothing, just want to live their life. They're like, dude, if it was me, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Can you guys stop? Like, everyone hates us. Like, imagine we walk around and we see Muslims, we're like, dude, God, how come you guys, like, if you guys are peaceful Muslims, you should be saying something, and you don't. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's my kind of explanation of what's happening with Iran. The pressure's from every which angle now on Iran. So we're at that breaking point. The regime is at the breaking point, and that's really what's going down. And now on top of all of the stuff that happened, now the whole world is rejecting Islam. We're against it. We're done. And what was I going to say? We're openly rejecting Islam. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, but we're just over it. We're good. And if I think of the other part, that I'll tell you. But you guys are absolutely right. This guy's saying, Max is saying no radical Islam in Australia. Yeah, Australia's pissed off. A lot of countries are pissed off. Yeah, bro. Absolutely. All we had to do, then we get a shovel. Sam says, interesting comparison because trans people are not even allowed in that society. The argument is that they want to exist and all, not to be allowed to be proud. Exactly, bro. That's what I'm trying to say, man. So I guess you understand what I'm saying, because that's the comparison. That's what I said. Gay people are pissed off at what the liberals are doing because it makes the LGBTQ look bad, the community look bad. Islamic government of Iran makes Islam look bad. It does. We're all pissed off. And not only that, the people that are doing crazy shit in UK, the people that are doing horrible things in France, all across Europe, all these countries that were like super woke, and they're like, no, let them all in. They're amazing. We all are the same people. And they quickly find out that no, that we're not. Muslims want to change everything into Sharia. And you see it openly. Before they were kind of like whatever about it, but now there's so many. That's why I'm gonna go to Instagram in a second. We're gonna watch a little more of this, and then we'll jump into some of those Instagram clips. Dude, Germany's pissed off. Have you guys seen Germany? They are so over Islam right now, bro. It's insane. And then don't get me into this Palestine stuff. That's a whole nother conversation, because I'll probably have a conversation. We'll probably do another live tomorrow. I'll go into that. But Sam is saying, no, Medi, I'm saying people in the U.S. don't want trans people to exist. I don't see that. I think that doesn't make any sense to me. I think we're just tired of having it shoved in our face. And when you push it so hard, you kind of piss us off. But it's not that we don't want them to exist. It's like, dude, just leave us alone. Get your men that have wieners out of our women's bathrooms. That's what we don't want. I think you're taking that too far, to be honest.
Like this. I mean, it never used to be this easy. Why is it this easy? Is it because the Democrats have gone so loco? Is it because Donald Trump has made the Democrats go so loco, or all he has to do is look normal, or just run the ball right down the middle of the field and score touchdown after touchdown after touchdown? We used to debate ideas. We don't even do that anymore. Now it's just like you're either normal or crazy. Donald.
That's funny how he puts it like that, and that's kind of what it seems like now. Kind of. You watch Trump, and it's just so easy. It's just so simple. He just says something very basic, and he just keeps winning touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It's so weird to me how the Democrats, they continue to just fumble and fumble and fumble, and they don't understand what they're doing. They fumbled the last election. They should have won that last election. They fumbled it so bad, and it's crazy because it doesn't change. They keep doing the same playbook. It's just orange man bad. They don't come up with their own policies. Can you guys think of any policies right now that the Democrats are working on that they care about? Anything that will help the American people? We'll wait for it. Guys, I did a post. I keep talking about Instagram, and I want, you know what? Let me jump into Instagram, and then let's do that. Let's do this here. Let's go here, and we're gonna click on where are we at here? Let's go right here, and we're gonna turn that off. All right. So look at this. This is interesting. I randomly just because of this whole Ilhan Omar thing that happened just recently at the State of the Union, I randomly asked ChatGPT. Let's look at this. And word for word, I said, and I just posted this. All I did was just ask it, and it gave me the answer, and you can see for yourself. I said, is there anything that Ilhan Omar has done to help the people of the United States? The answer? Ilhan Omar has helped her district by securing around $12.8 million for community projects, and overall $54 million in federal funding, which we all know that these people have used the federal money that has gone to her district for what? Fraud. We all know that. She introduced listen to this. She introduced over 113 bills and amendments and advocated for underserved communities, including immigrant protections and economic reforms. Again, all things that help Somali immigrants in her district commit fraud. She also pushed for shifting U.S. spending from military engagements to local community investments. What are local community investments? Daycare centers? Programs for feeding children? Programs for feeding the needy? What happened with all that? Can we say fraud? Can you say fraud? That's what that was. So what are these Democrats doing? What are these Democrats doing? Nothing. They have no plans. They have no ideas. They just go, oh, look at the orange guy. He's doing this thing. Or look at these Republicans. They're doing that. That's all they're doing. It makes no sense. Like, dude, and then you have Democrats that try to help you out. Stephen A. Smith tries to help them out. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And it's crazy. He spells it out for them perfectly, and they still don't get it.
How many refugees?
Oh, that's my Muslim one. That's a good one. All right, so let's take. Here's something interesting. Talking about Epstein stuff. I know you guys love Epstein stuff. Let's listen to this.
You support President Trump?
Yeah, I worked for him.
How do you feel about his current connections to the Epstein sex trafficking?
Did you read the Epstein files?
Yes, I actually have a copy right here.
Great, I would love to see it. Did you read that in 2007, who was the person that called the FBI and told the FBI that there was this pedophile going around town who he had just kicked out of his club Mar-a-Lago? That was Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you read the section where it mentioned several witnesses saw Trump orally rape a 13-year-old?
Yeah. And did you see that the person had no proof to those claims, that the guy that's been in public politics for 10 years would have very easily been out of public politics if they had some proof behind that? They tried to kill the guy. They arrested the guy. If they could have got the guy down for sex trafficking 10 years ago, he would have never come down the golden escalator.
I actually don't know what you're talking about. As far as I've been able to tell, and this is all in the papers that I have right here,
sure.
The interviews with those people were corroborated over the course of a very long investigation.
Great. And when did the investigation happen?
The investigation was happening between 2010 and 2014, and the files obviously were released earlier this year.
Who was the president during that time?
I believe that was Barack Obama.
Do you think if Barack Obama or, say, his Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had proof from their DOJ, FBI, etc., that Donald Trump was a sex trafficker, that they would have loved to annihilate him in the press by simply leaking that, like they leaked some of the Russian collusion stories, or maybe another example? They would absolutely do that. Oh, let's say maybe they didn't have the time. That's totally fair. The investigation was still going on. How long was Biden in office?
He was in office for 4 years.
In his 4 years, when he had access to not only look at all those documents, but also to declassify them, do you think, one, he would have been happy to declassify those, but if he was too scared to declassify those, Mrs. Buddy Clinton was also one of those that you called to mention, he would have loved to leak that piece of paper to the press. He failed to do both of those. Why? Because they can't find proof. If they could find proof that Donald Trump orally raped a young girl, that would have been on the front headlines on June 16, 2015, when Donald Trump went on the golden escalator. There's no proof other than the piece of paper that you're holding. Yes, please.
Yeah. So somebody here says, if you let me talk, then I'll explain it to you. Or you can talk. Go ahead. Jellyman says, they would have had reason to take him down because it wasn't politics. Okay, bro. Let us know when you have something that you know that's worth saying. What else we got here? Let's see here. Let's take a look. Here's an interesting one. But I'm going to wait. So we're going to keep going. Dude, check this out. In the UK, they're so over Islam that even the Sikhs are coming out against it. Check this out. Listen to this.
Hello, my friends.
Hello, everyone.
Today, we came in front of you to tell one thing, why we closed our restaurant Rangrace after 16 years. One of the main reasons was, from day one, we choose not to sell fucking halal meat.
So in London, if you don't sell halal meat, the Pakistanis, they write bad reviews. If you check Rangrace's website, you can see the reviews. The name, Ali,
Muhammad, Salman, whatever. So you go through reviews all over social media.
You get it? So in the UK, if you don't sell halal meat, the Pakistani Muslims will go in and they all start submitting bad reviews. And they probably go message their computer hacker friends in Pakistan to do the whole, like, you know, whatever iPhone farms they have over there to go write all these bad reviews for you. Anyway, these guys were willing to basically give up their business to stop selling halal meat. And now
You will see that all the 0-star reviews are given by these fucking Pakistanis. I don't care. I lost my business. I choose to close it. Why? Because I don't care. My fight against this radicalization is bigger than my business. I keep coming after you. You don't think that I will stop back and I do nothing. But the main thing is, I favor everyone who want to ban halal meat in UK because of this, my restaurant is closed. This should be banned.
Sadiq Khan, coming after you.
We are coming after you because of your lot.
So they're calling out Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan is the mayor of London. The guy that runs London is, you guessed it, Muslim. You know who the person is that's in charge of all the policing and national security for the whole entire country of UK? It's a Muslim woman. And everyone's over it, bro. Everyone's sick and tired of it. Let's see what else we got here.
Can I ask you what you identify as?
Identify?
Ethnicity?
I identify as an American.
Not an African American?
No, American. Stop trying to cut us up and dice us up into different categories, bro. We're tired of it.
Much hate coming from a certain community. To be specific, the African Americans.
We don't call them African Americans. We call them Americans. And in our country, they're free.
Exactly. I gotta stop because of the music, but you get the point. People are done. Japan is done. I talked about Japan. Japan is done with Islam. Look at this. Oh, damn, there's music in the background of that too. Man, I gotta do a better job of selecting these clips for you guys. Greece is done. Look at this. Greece announces plans to close 60 mosques nationwide and deport individuals who continue to establish Islamic religious spaces illegally. We're done. We're done. Let's listen to what Lindsey Graham says about Israel-Gaza.
When you look at the last few years since October 7th, many people in this part of the world say what happened in Gaza does not align with Christian values. Killing children, killing mothers,
I'll be honest
killing
with
families
you.
who are not militants.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Why?
Because what did we do in World War II? Did we think 1 minute about starving the Germans? Did we bomb every city into to smithereens? So this
You
is a
compare
war. No,
October
this is,
7th to World War II.
Yes, I am. This is an absolute existential threat to the Jewish people. What happened on October the 7th was 1,200 people were slaughtered, raped, and murdered and filmed by radical Islamists who would kill every Jew if they could, to the world. If you don't understand this is a threat to Israel's
And then they
survival,
flattened Gaza.
just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo.
Yep. Think about this for a second. What do you think would happen if you let Hamas carry out whatever it is their goal is, whatever their goal is to carry out? What if you let them do it? What would happen? Think about that. What would Palestinians and Hamas in Gaza, in that whole whatever you want to call so-called Palestine, what would they do if you gave them free reign? Let's say, you know what, you can have whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. What would they do? They would wipe out every Jew, not only in Israel but on the planet if they could. And guess who's next? Exactly what Alpha Villa said. No more America. First is the Jews. They'll wipe them all out. Then guess who? Not just America, but any Western country. Gone. What do you think? Again, I said this in the beginning of the podcast and the beginning of the stream, and I'm going to get off here pretty soon, but what has the Islamic Republic of Iran, the government, the regime running the country of Iran, what have they been saying ever since they came into power 47 years ago? Death to America. That's what would happen. And it's not something where we have to guess or we're drawing conclusions. No, they openly say all of this stuff to you guys, but you guys on the left have been, you guys maybe not directly, but whoever's leading your shit that is like kind of, basically running your brains because you guys can't think for yourselves. Those people are bought and paid for by Islam. The reason the economy of Iran is completely destroyed is because the Islamic government, instead of putting money into its own economy and helping its country function, they're paying for Islamic radicalization. They're paying to spread Islam throughout the world. They're paying to dismantle Western civilizations. They're paying to destroy our mentalities. They have the whole liberal left right now, currently, the left right now, hating themselves and their country. Think about that. The left walks around hating America. telling us we're a slave country, we're this country, we're that country, when in reality, United States and the UK were among the first countries in the world to stop slavery. In fact, after we stopped slavery, we actually fought against ourselves. We fought a civil war amongst ourselves to stop slavery. And it's something they hold on over all of Americans' heads. And get this, after we stopped slavery and fought ourselves to stop slavery, other parts of the world were still engaging in slavery. And what kind of they had white slaves. Did you know that there were more? This is something that people don't understand, and I think I have something saved to show you this. Did you know? Where is it? Where is this at? I'm going to pull this up right here. Let me see. Yeah, I have it here. I have it. I saved it. I think. Can't find it. Did you know that there were more white people that were enslaved in North Africa than black slaves in America? Did you know that? Think about that. There were more white people enslaved in North Africa than there were black slaves in America. In total. It's not a when question. We're talking total. There are currently still countries enslaving people as we speak right now. So anyway, long story short, it's all a big disaster. Islam has been trying to take over, and they've been doing a great job. They've already captured all the brains of all the liberals, so it's completely out of control. But it's okay. We're all waking up, and we're all standing up against it, and I'm looking forward to it. And more importantly, currently, as of right now, looking forward to the Islamic Republic of Iran being brought down. Hopefully it happens very soon, and when it does, that's the nucleus. That's the center. That's the heart of this caliphate or Islamification of the planet that they're trying to perpetuate on us. And we're done with it. And once the Islamic regime is gone, it's going to help the whole world. It's going to be great for the whole world. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it quits for tonight right there, and then we'll catch up maybe tomorrow. Good to have you guys. Thanks for joining. Love you guys all. Thank you for all your opinions, and appreciate it. Thank you. Good night.